Hi there. So in our last installment, we explored how Paul structures the letter to Philippi and how that can give us some coaching on how to live as gospel-shaped community. In particular, we saw the command to stand firm. We saw it in the beginning and we saw it at the end. Now, not directly at the beginning, but about a chapter in, and then not flat out at the end, but about a chapter's width before the end. There's some stuff in the beginning and some stuff in the end that amounts to imagination building about how Paul's thinking about this and about how Paul's thinking about this for him and for them. But the stuff in the middle provides us essentially a manual for gospel community. We get a stand firm in the beginning and a stand firm at the end, and that should leave us with the question of how. How do we live well together? How do we hold the line? How do we lock our shields and not start infighting between us? And if we are infighting, if there's already conflict, and we can see in Philippi there's already conflict between Euodia and Syntyche, these two leaders within the church of Philippi. If there's already infighting, already funk, like how do we course correct? How do we get right? What should we do in order to stand firm? How do you do that? So Paul gives basically three big content pieces between the stand firm in 127 and the stand firm in 4:1. The first content piece is a discussion of how to think, and it's a mindset bit. He's going to quote a hymn that was familiar in the early church. We've come to call it the kenosis of Jesus, the emptying of Jesus. He says, "Let this mind be in you." And it's not just in you, but in y'all, right? In among you. Let this be the dominant mindset, the way the group thinks about things, the way each individual within the group thinks about things, but also the expected approach that you're going to take to everything as a group. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. And from there, he moves to a discussion of witness, how that community understands its journey in the wider world. And so how it understands itself inside, how it understands itself in the wider world, and then what it is to pursue and how it is to pursue it. What are we after, and how do we go after it? Okay? This structure is really helpful for this letter. But for this series, we're actually going to approach this a little bit differently. We're going to start with the mind, and then we're going to move to the pursuit. Okay? And then from the pursuit, we'll go back up to the witness, and then that will help us understand how to stand firm. These aren't tied together with a lot of therefores and thuses. So they're conversational pieces, where inside this one conversation, Paul's going to talk about three things. We could approach them in any order, but for our purposes, we're going to go mind, pursuit, witness. Okay, and that's what the next three videos are going to be about. Well, we might get a few videos on the mind, a couple on the pursuit, and a few on the witness. But as we're exploring Philippians, that's what you're going to be looking for. If you get lost in the video series, you can always check the title. But if that isn't enough for you, you can come back to this video and mark this map and see where are we in the conversation as we learn how to stand firm together. All right? Stand firm.